Yeah, 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 Urko. Hey, 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 look.
Yeah, what's going on? I'll go by the name of Steph Urkel, and welcome back to another episode of Millennium Dungeon. How's everybody doing? Got our wonderful co-host, Afropuff.
Hello, y'all.
What's going on, Afropuff? How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
Feeling pretty good. I'm pretty good. Kind of sad though. It's not sad, but I feel like relieved. It's the end of the year episode for the Millennium Dungeon, y'all.
Yeah,
So
it's been a big year.
2022. Been interesting. How you feel about it?
Oh, I'm excited.
Nice,
I'm
nice.
excited to go to this new year. I mean, my I'm excited, but I'm keeping my expectations low.
Wow.
Because listen, remember how everyone was so excited and happy and ready for 2020, and then 2020 shot on everybody?
Yeah. So you say COVID part two coming? That's what you saying?
No, no, no. This is how I felt since. Be excited, be happy, have goals, be motivated, but keep your expectations low because you don't know what's going to happen.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? We were all joking about 2020 bringing a plague, and then it did. Let's start there. No, but I'm excited. I love the new year. I don't know. I'm a pretty positive person. I just think it's a great time to reset and to
Yeah,
reflect and, and to be hopeful about your future.
as you should be. So let's get right into the episode. So we're gonna have a list of different topics that we're gonna recap that happened in 2022, and we're just gonna briefly talk about it, and then end our the episode talking about what are some things that we loved in 2022 and what we learned this year, and then what we look to expect for 2023. So let's start off with the first topic. Um, Will Smith slap at the Oscars, aka keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Wow. Yes. So
He
anybody
got
that
loud for that,
didn't
y'all.
know, anybody that didn't know who lives under a rock, back in about March or February at the Oscars, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars because Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith about her hair, and Will wasn't having it. Well, it kind of looked like he was because he was laughing at a joke, and then all you see is Jada was like, and he was like, oh shit. He walked on that stage and just slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. So yeah, how did you feel when that happened?
Oh, I thought that shit was hilarious. I can't even lie. Not him. He got the New Year's Eve bottle out. Y'all see that? He tried to be like Will Smith next, drunk, smacking people. Don't get it. No, for real though. I I thought it was funny, but also like it's one of those things where you expect more for him and you want more for him. In some ways, though, you can also like understand it. I never lost my respect for the brother.
I didn't either.
We all make mistakes. Sometimes expensive mistakes, but
Yeah,
mistakes nonetheless.
exactly.
And we
Yeah, go
don't
ahead.
know the things people go through. You know what I mean? We don't know their insecurities. Just because someone has money and fame and, you know, all these things that we kind of aspire to have does not make them any less of a real person with issues of their own.
Exactly.
And we all have times when we hit our breaking point and we do stupid things like slap people at the Oscars.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Some niggas gotta get slapped, I guess. And I'm a fan of both of them. I love Chris Rock and I love Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? When people were trying to boycott Will Smith and stuff, I was still team Will Smith. I was still watching Men in Black, still watching I Am Legend, all of that. And it's like you said before, I think the main message I feel like a lot of us need to recap and learn from that situation is no matter how big you are, no matter how much money you got, at the end of the day, everybody got a breaking point. We all human. We all got emotions, and obviously we knew that was kind of boiling down from the year and a half of him going through the entanglement on drama in the media. You know what I'm saying? And we saw Will Smith just bottle that in. like trying to show no emotion or nothing, and he just snapped at that one moment. It happens. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to learn. And people still love Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? So we
And
all
his
human.
career has recovered. People were talking back then, like, oh, his career is over. He's going to lose all these opportunities. No one, and yeah, there's people who are still salty. There's people who don't associate with him. He definitely probably lost some business deals, but overall, he's recovering slash
Yeah,
recovered. People's attention spans aren't that long. You know what I mean? It's hard to even remember that this was part of 2022.
yeah.
Though that was a great internet moment.
Boy,
Will,
them
you've
memes
given us
was
a couple good
crazy.
ones.
Them memes was fucking crazy. You understand? I was laughing the whole week.
Yeah,
So
same. Couple weeks.
yeah, a couple weeks, couple. But more of the story, we all human people. So let's move on to the next one. Wow, Russia invaded Ukraine. So this is scary. It's still going on, obviously, because I was watching CNN and said it was another attack. You know?
Yeah, it was like a big drone attack recently,
Yeah,
like these past couple days.
yeah.
But
And
yeah, that it's interesting how hindsight, as people who maybe aren't as politically like active or maybe not as engaged, especially like international politics, it's funny how you can't see certain things coming into play because of just how unaware you are. Like
yeah,
for example, Crimea was a territory of the Ukraine, and back in like 2014 or 2016, Russia annexed Crimea from the Ukraine, so took Crimea from the Ukraine,
mm,
and there was no international outcry about it. No one really was putting any efforts. And like when I was watching the news the other night with my dad, they were saying how that really was the precursor to Russia invading the Ukraine. That was like their first step. And when nobody reacted to it, when no one was really, they didn't get any fines, they didn't get any sanctions, there wasn't any like international outcry where it was like, stop Russia, you know what I mean?
yeah,
More or less. So that gave them kind of like the license to keep going.
yeah,
To. And so it's a sad situation all around. I remember last year when the war started because it was so scary. It's still scary.
yeah,
We're not used to war in that same capacity anymore. I feel like, back in the day, wars happened all the time. When I say back in the day, I mean like early 1900s and beyond. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
even 1950s, wars were we haven't had as many wars in the last, or wars that the US has been involved in and actively talking about. You know what I mean? There's wars all the time, I'm sure. We just aren't privy to them. We're not aware about it.
yeah.
But when we start to actually get involved and see, that's when it's just like, wow. I hope that makes sense. I'm like maybe
Yeah, it
rambling
makes
again.
sense. I feel like the main message, especially what you, it was a good point that you brought up back in 2014. That's what was like the precursor of everything starting. So I guess like this just comes to show you like war just doesn't just happen out of thin air. It's always a domino effect to everything, you know. And
Right.
this is something that we didn't really see coming. Honestly, I never thought this was going to be big as it was. You know, I didn't know how big we were going to be involved in this as well. So yeah,
We've
just pray
given a
for
lot of money.
Ukraine. You know, it's like yeah, we donate a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. But that's another conversation for another thing.
Right. We
But
can have a deeper international politics conversation another day. It's New Year's Eve.
yeah, exactly.
But it is
Yeah,
wild to think about, and it is definitely like not something I expected to see in my lifetime. And I guess really the 2020s so far has been a lot of things that I was not expecting to experience.
yeah, same actually. It's just been weird. But speaking of
I
the
agree.
Russia Ukraine thing, you can just also think about the how that led to the Brittany Griner thing. You know, like WNBA
Right,
player. If anybody didn't know, that was captured. What that was over in Russia, and she got arrested for having a vape pen, and she was over there for months in a Russian prison cell, and there was a whole campaign trying to get her released. and we got rejected so
Year.
many times.
It was a
I say
half a
that,
year.
yeah,
I said it was a half a year she was, in prison. She literally this month just got released
yeah,
from the Russian prison and was able to come home. And like largely it thanks to all the efforts of her wife,
yeah,
you know. And I think it really just so Russia obviously was using her as a pawn in their bigger play against the US.
uh-huh.
And the Russian government is not to be trusted, obviously.
Uh,
They're not above planting things. Not that the US government is above that either, but that's neither here nor there. You get the point.
yeah,
Um, and they're not they are very anti-LGBTQ plus. They're very, they're anti certain drugs. And so it's not surprising, but I think really the war in Ukraine is what they wanted that leverage.
mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
and
still,
we had some war criminals, some
mm-hmm.
spies that they wanted back. So what should we do? We're going to take this famous celebrity, this NBA player, this Olympic medalist, you know, because I believe she played for the U.S. Olympic team,
Yeah.
and do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's crazy.
And can I just say
But
something too?
yeah.
Can we just like all agree on something? Can we say the fuck out of Russia? Like I was just talking to a friend about this like a few weeks ago. It's like after the whole Brittany
Not
Griner thing with the whole Russia and Ukraine thing, like there is no need for Americans to go over Russia. Like, why the fuck are you going over there anymore? It's like, can we just agree that we can't fuck with Russia? Like, look at it this way. Let's look at Russia like that coworker that we know we never gonna get along with, and we just accept it. We just walk past them by the copier machine and be like, hey, hey, you using it? No. Keep it moving. Russia is not to be fucked with. They proved it time and time again. Leave them alone. Like I don't get
right.
it. Like, I don't know.
But really, I think the lesson to be learned isn't not just like to not mess with Russia. The lesson really is that our players, especially our WNBA players specifically our WNBA players, need to be paid better. It's inequitable pay. Otherwise, why would so many WNBA players go over to Europe to play for their basketball teams out of season?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, especially when you compare to the millions with an M, that so many NBA stars make. Even there are people sitting the bench making millions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In comparison to the pay of the women's league,
Yeah.
that's where it really highlights that discrepancy when women's basketball could be a force, but they don't want to make it that.
Yeah.
And so that forces those players who often aren't making that much money comparatively. Obviously, they're making more than me, but you know what I mean? It forces them to go into situations that they maybe wouldn't otherwise. It forces them to go, yeah, I'll play it for Russia because they think, okay, I'm gonna get some coin. I can't stop working because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to sustain my life.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's the bigger lesson. Yes, don't mess with Russia, but we've known that for the last 50, 60 years. Russia and the US has had beef. This isn't new,
Yeah.
but people were able to go over safely or safer, you know?
Yeah.
And but the real issue is why do we have so many American female sports players, professional sports players, having to go over to other countries to play during the off season in order to make their living sustainable?
Mhm. Yeah.
That's not right. Not that I think athletes should be making the money that they do, but that's definitely not fair
Yeah.
to me, at least.
Yeah. Agreed. So next one, I was gonna say YSL, but technically we can kind of connect it to the deaths of rappers because I was going to talk connected with the obviously the whole Gunna and Young Thug trial, but let's just connect the whole rap culture in general because obviously we've seen the deaths
There's
of
so much death this year.
PNB Rock, Takeoff, and multiple other rappers dying either through gun violence or getting caught up with the law. And yeah, it's just I think like I said before, we talked about this plenty of times. Like, and when it comes to hip hop culture, I think we need to start being honest with ourselves on one, how we carry ourselves, on when we make it into the industry and we get a certain amount of money and success, we got to be honest on how we carry ourselves. If we want to be millionaires, that's how we got to act, and we can't be out here still acting like we moving in the streets. So I that's just my opinion. And two, I think we, as a rap culture, after seeing countless people getting caught up with the law or getting killed in the streets, the same way that you all got killed in the hood, I think we need to start being honest about what we glorify in the hood. Because yeah, I like we talked about this too. I feel like we can blame like the rappers because I know a lot of people want to point the fingers at rappers. Well, it's their fault because all they do is talk about violence and stuff like that. So, but at the same time, I feel like as a culture, especially the black community, we gotta take some level of accountability too on what we glorify. Because truth of the matter is, I've seen plenty of people glorify that shit every day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not even with
Well,
rap.
the fact of the matter, right. I was gonna say the fact of the matter is it's a cycle.
Yeah.
If you were the rappers would not be able to get the amount of success from singing these type of lyrics if people were not buying it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everyone wants to get rich. They want to get rich fast. They want to, quick, quote unquote, easy, not through legal routes. Or if it's through legal routes, it's through like rapping or sports or whatever. And so you're just gonna watch what you glorify, watch what you endorse. And I think the issue is our community, so many people no longer value their own life, and therefore they're not valuing other people's lives.
Mm.
And then we have the media, the music industry, reinforcing those beliefs. And so we have all this hate and all this anger and all this sadness. And all it does is fester and boil and create all this ugly.
Yeah.
And all this death. And we're more than this.
And plus, it just unveils like it just kind of pulls back the curtain on a level of toxic shit that a lot of us really didn't want to pay attention to in rap. Because like obviously gangster rap been around since the 90s, right? But nowadays
Right.
you're seeing more and more rappers get killed every day because whether that's through social media or the news or whatever. But it's just like this is something we can't ignore anymore. Like we can't sit back and say like, no, there's not toxic shit in rap music. And like you know me, I'm a big rap fan. I love rap. I listen to that shit all day, every day. But at the same time, we can't just ignore the fact that it's a lot of toxic shit in rap too that we glorify. That it's just like, okay, you want to be a millionaire, fine, but it's like you can't get surprised with this. The lyrics that you put out, you kind of attract the same negative energy right back to you. You know,
Right.
because a lot of these
Even
rappers
if it is just a persona.
huh?
Right. I said, even if it's just a persona, like it doesn't matter. Because the persona that celebrities put out about themselves are what everyday people believe about you.
Yeah.
And if you can't be like a rapper, a celebrity, and then also still stay involved in hood activities.
Yep.
And you definitely shouldn't be involved in illegal activities because you are still black in America.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do better.
Yeah. I feel like we all need to do our part and do better in the black community, not just like just the music industry, just the black community in general. If we really want to see change, we just gotta start being honest on what we overvalue. Because I feel like in our community, the reason why this shit always continues to go on because I feel like we overvalue street culture too much, and I feel like a lot of rappers feel like they gotta put on this street persona in order to be seen as real or black. Because truth of the matter is, not even rappers. If you just take it back down to level surface, I see motherfuckers every day feel like they gotta be something they not just to feel like that's their identity, or they're scared of not being called real. So
I'm gonna be honest. My friend and I, you remember, my friend and I, we were having a conversation this weekend, and the issue is our community is so broken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so many the Black community as a whole has so much strength and beautifulness, but also it's very broken.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of it goes back to how we came to this country
Yeah.
and our treatment within this country and how our family unit has been devalued, etc. But we were talking about it like we have broken people having sex with other broken people and then creating these broken babies and not doing the internal work to heal themselves so that they don't pass all those generational issues and their own personal traumas
Mm.
onto their children. And then we wonder why we have all this violence within our community because none of us are healing from the generational level,
Yeah.
let alone the personal level, and we're not breathing. And obviously, this isn't everybody, but so many of us are not breathing life into these youth. We are not supporting each other the way we should, the
Yeah.
way that other communities do, even with their own issues, you know? Because it's easy to be like, oh, they don't do that in the white community. They don't do this in the Chinese community. They don't do that in the Latino community. And that's not true. They're all communities have issues.
Right.
But we are known for not supporting each other, not being there for each other. And then we wonder why we can't get ahead. It's a team sport, but we're often so broken. It's so incapable of seeing the world outside ourselves and outside of our own hurt that we don't care who else we hurt.
Yeah.
And that's how you devalue someone else's life and fix your finger to kill them.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And we're not learning how to emotionally regulate. How many people do you know who get mad at the drop of a hat, pissed off, angry, stomping, yelling, acting a fool over something insignificant, something that won't matter the next day?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many parents have you seen yell at their kids, beat their kids, you know, call their kids stupid, da da da, over breaking a glass or spilling a drink or doing something that is normal kid stuff?
Yeah.
And then we expect these kids to grow up and be successful and be mature and be able to make good decisions. And yes, you make a choice, but also your upbringing influences the choices that you're willing to make.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't mean to be on a rant, but I'm just saying we really need to start looking at what are we doing within ourselves? What work are we trying to grow personally? How are we trying to fix our children or prevent these issues from being passed on to our children? Because I think that's the only way we're really going to start fixing our community.
Right.
And so it's bigger than rap, it's bigger than media, but they are reflecting what they think we want,
Mm-hmm.
that they think what they think we are, even more so.
That's true. More of the story, I feel like we just got do better on all sides. So
Agreed.
speaking of music, we're gonna talk about 21 Savage and Drake album, but we also gonna just talk about music this year.
I just want to say,
What?
21 Savage, all the features he had this year, crazy. He was working his ass off.
Yeah. You know,
Crazy.
you know what's crazy? When 21 Savage first came out, I was never really big of a fan, but he after the years he kind of grew on me. And with this album
Yeah.
right here, I'm like, yo, he was snapping on this album. This Drake on his collab album, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
But do you have any favorite projects in music this year?
I wouldn't say I have any favorite projects necessarily. I was hype when the new Meg Thee Stallion album came out in August
Yeah.
in Philly, and I was getting ready to come see you,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and that whole album while I was getting ready.
yeah.
And like Lizzo did her thing this year. That's all I gotta say. She is a performer, and I can't wait to go see her in May.
Oh, you going to see her in May? That's what's up.
I'm super excited, and I'm super excited that like Ella May just dropped a new album because it's been a couple years, and I love Ella May.
She been quiet. I didn't know
Like
she was dropping a project.
she just dropped a new album. I listened to the whole thing. I recently listened to the whole, like today, I listened to the whole Jasmine Sullivan album.
Mm.
Like I'm just saying, Black women were doing their thing this year. That's what they were doing. And I'm here for it.
Of course.
But yeah,
Some of my favorite artists.
those are my favorite like little projects, I guess.
I'm trying to think. So I would say like Benny the Butcher. He's a rapper on Buffalo, New York. He got some of my favorite projects. Freddie Gibbs dropped a project. Shit was crazy. J. Cole label Dreamville. They dropped the I think it's called D Day with DJ Drama. That shit was bumping in my phone. And Foggy Raw, he's from the DMV. It's a lot of people that I listen to drop some crazy ass albums. So it was like this was a good year for music for me. So it's like a lot
Yeah.
of people. It kind of inspired me to get into more music too. So it's just like, yeah, I can't wait to see what comes next year. You
Listen, all the albums that I was able to shake my ass to, like, that's all I wanted. My soul was rejuvenated
you making that thing do that
because
thing?
yes, I was FNF all summer with a boyfriend. FNF.
But
Like, but I like having fun, and what I love about like female rap is that it can be very fun.
yeah,
It's not serious. The rappers are not serious. They're like, I mean, they're serious about their work, but the lyrics of their songs are not serious.
yeah,
And they know that. They're not trying.
I feel that.
It's more about making you feel good in the moment so that
Mm-hmm.
you feel confident going into your life. That's how I view it. Now, not everybody feels the same way, but that's how. And so I've just been happy. It's been good.
Hey, teach his own. That's how you love music. Shit, music is for enjoyment. But I guess some things that we need to talk about too. That to end it off. What are some things that you learned from this year? Like, is there any lessons you learned or taught this year?
Yeah, definitely. I'm working on me. I'm trying to become more patient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a patient person, but when you're working with people, it's not all about you. And not that I feel like that, but sometimes it's easy to get frustrated when you have a vision or you have a way of thinking. And even if your way of thinking is right, if you can't get people on your side and see why they feel the way that they do, you're never going to be able to compromise or make that end goal. So I'm working on myself, working on my patience. Definitely learned that. Um, I had a good year. I can't even 2023, not 20, well, I hope 2023 is a good year. 2022 though, I can't really complain too much. Uh, like I'm in my third year of teaching. I feel so much more confident, more assured of myself. And I'm
Yeah,
still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still figuring a lot of stuff out, but it's more peaceful.
nice.
And so I'm really feeling like I'm coming into my own. I'm in my grown woman um stage,
Stage.
I guess. But yeah, I'm getting my shit together.
As you should.
I like it. Like I've been really big recently learning about like I've been really big on like improving my financial literacy. I started a high yield savings account.
Yeah.
Like once I get my emergency fund together, I'm gonna start uh crushing some debt, start investing, start, looking towards the future, just making my financial health greater.
As you should. That's what
So
I'm doing too. That's one of the things I start learning and getting more proficient in is like knowing how to budget my savings more and learning how what to put my money into. Because I feel like when you be out and stuff like that, you be spending on just here and there, but like through some older people I talk to, just learn how to budget my savings, knowing how to put stuff on the side, and just knowing how to just money manage things. And another lesson for me, I feel like I learned is just like knowing who to call your friend.
yeah,
Because I feel like I kind of use that word too loosely. Somebody I was talking to kind of pointed that out to me. Cause you like, what the fuck? Well, wait, nigga, where's we? But but it's like I feel like I use the word
I'm
friend
cracking
too
up.
loosely.
I'm just cracking up because ever since I knew you, you've always been like, not everybody's my friend. So the
Yeah,
fact that you feel like you've become looser,
Yeah,
or maybe not looser, but you realize even how tight you had it. You had to tighten it up still. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Even at Clarion, when we talked about this before, like I feel like it's very
Many
hard to call
times.
people my friends because I call people my friends that I don't even know their last name. So it's just like, ugh, like, are we friends? I only talk to you like maybe through Facebook. Like, so are we really friends? So
Right.
it's just like I just got it's good, and even not even just that, it's just like the level of support too. Because I hate for
That's
having to
true.
ask for help too. But like when we doing the podcasting or this or whatever, it's like you got to put yourself out there and make yourself available to other people. And like when you ask for that kind of help and stuff, some people help, some people don't. So I just had to evaluate who I choose to put in my close friend circle. So
That's fair. You
yeah,
got to figure out who you can rely on,
say that again.
who shows up for you. I said you got to figure out who you can rely on, who shows up for you,
Exactly. Because
and
I feel like
you want to pour into people who pour into you.
exactly. And I feel like that's something.
And no love
It's
lost.
hard because like when you're used and you're taught to do that for other people, good to other people, it's kind of hard to break out of that habit. So it's something I'm going into
Yeah,
2023. I'm going to be more cautious of when it comes to like supporting other people. Like I feel like I need to support people who want to support me. I feel like
yeah,
I'm going to call you somebody I know. I'm gonna call you associate. But so as far as like,
right,
say friends, it's like it's kind of a stretch. So,
right. I get you. I do. And it's no love lost. It's not like you dislike them or they're a bad
yeah,
person or you know what I mean? It's not negative. It's just that we aren't as close as I am to other people. We can still be cool. We can still associate, hang out, whatever. But are you my close friend? Probably not.
yeah,
Because I need the people I consider closest to the people who support me, who uplift me, who guide me, who tell me right from wrong, who don't just go with my bullshit,
exactly,
you know? So I definitely get that. I think it's hard to as adults because it's harder to make friends. There's less opportunities.
hmm
And like, I don't know about you, but everyone I work with is significantly older than I am. And so I have friends now who are older than me, which is great.
hmm
But that doesn't, they're at different stages of their life than me. They're
yeah,
married, they have kids, they're divorced,
hmm
And so I'm 26, unmarried. I don't have any kids. I'm in a different life stage. I don't own a house. I'm not paying rent. I'm not doing certain things.
yeah,
And so we're good friends, good work friends or whatever. But I still need friends who are 24 to 30. You know what I mean?
yeah. To
So
understand your
just
age,
being, yeah. So it's just, evaluating who do you want to put your time, a lot of your time and energy into,
yeah.
and who, are on the outskirts of that a little bit. So I get that. But I'm excited for 2023.
I am too. I know my goals that I got ready for 2023, and I know my drive is going to be. It's going to be on go. Because there's no more procrastinating. I got a little motto. It's called GW U. Grind with urgency, and that's how I'm gonna look at my
I love
motto.
that.
Be my motto for 2023. I'm just going to
Well,
grind with urgency, just stay focused. Like whoever is there is there, whoever isn't, oh well. And I feel like that's what a lot of people need to start doing, like taking your goals more seriously. And that's one thing.
oh yeah,
I feel like 2020 is one of the most important years that we probably ever going to experience because with the pandemic and stuff, it kind of showed you that anything can happen. So
right.
you can't take things for granted. And obviously, you see the depth of all these rappers. So like, go start your year fresh and make your goals happen. That's all I got to say. Anything
Yes,
else?
yes. All I have to say is hold yourself accountable. Don't make excuses.
Yeah.
Don't make excuses. Stop. Excuses are easy. Work is hard. Work
Mm-hmm.
is hard. Put your money where your mouth is.
Message.
Otherwise, you're never going to achieve what you want to.
I like that. With that being said, I'll go by the name of Steph.
And I'm Amari, aka Afropuff.
And this has been another episode of Millennium Dungeon. We'll see y'all next year. Peace.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Ergo.